I move that this House, 1, recognises the correlation and strong evidence of causation between declining mental health in young people and their growing use of social media. 2, notes that over 114,000 people have signed the 36 months petition to raise the legal age of social media access to 16. 3, supports raising the legal age of access to social media from 13 to 16. And 4, calls on the New South Wales Government and the federal government to work together to implement this much needed change by July 2025. Mr. Acting Speaker, social media has changed how humans interact with each other on an unprecedented scale. In just over a decade, smartphones have become a fixture in daily life, a portal to what seems like constant connectivity and engagement. And in many respects, this has brought people closer together. But the growth of social media is a double-edged sword. In some cases, it's outright replaced many of the face-to-face interactions we used to take for granted. And in others, it's turned personal experiences into commodities, whose value is determined by others' likes and reactions. And at its worst, we hear horrific stories of cyberbullying, harassment, and posts promoting self-harm, among other things, that young people have experienced. By all accounts, young people are those who are the most affected by these downsides. Over the winter recess, I read what I believe should be compulsory reading for all members in this place. A #1 New York Times bestseller, Jonathan Haidt's The Anxious Generation, describes how a great rewiring of childhood and adolescence has had a sudden and very large upturn in mental illness seen across the Western world. As one review puts it, Haidt shows how between 2010 and 2015, childhood got rewired. As teens traded in their flip phones for smartphones packed with social media apps, time online soared, including time spent comparing oneself to a vast pool of others. Time engaging face-to-face with friends and family plummeted, and so did mental health. For example, from 2010 to 2020, the rate at which Australians aged 12 to 24 were kept in hospitals overnight for mental health reasons increased by 81% for girls and 51% for boys. Recent US data shows that 57% of teenage girls now say that they experience persistent sadness or hopelessness, up from 36% in 2011. Haidt argues convincingly that the loss of play-based childhood and its replacement with a phone-based childhood, unsuitable for human development, is the source of increased mental distress among teenagers. And he identifies 4 fundamental ways in which a phone-based childhood disrupts development. There's social deprivation, with time with friends in face-to-face settings plummeting. There's sleep deprivation, in both quantity and quality. There's attention fragmentation, with constant notifications meaning that adolescents rarely have 5 or 10 minutes to think without interruption. And there's addiction, with a dopamine release pleasurable but not satisfying and making the addict want more of what triggered the release. A 2020 study found that the strength of correlations between social media use and well-being for all age groups and genders is broadly stronger than the correlation between childhood-led exposure and adult IQ. Parents of younger children I've spoken with describe the endless streams of likes, buzzers, and quasi-validation as a siren song that overtakes other pursuits, including schoolwork, athletics, and socialising. This isn't a moral issue, this is a health issue. And the response to these trends can't simply be that parents should be better supported to protect their children. Social media has become a norm for younger people, so restricting individuals' access would likely cause isolation from their friends and peers. So this means we need a cohort-wide response. And across the world, we're seeing different policy responses to protect our young children. In the European Union, for example, in 2023, there's the Digital Services Act, which forbids platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat from targeting children with personalised advertisements. Eton College in England has recently required that students only use basic Nokia bricks without access to the metaverse. Efforts like these are valuable, but they only really scratch the surface of a problem that is the rewiring of childhood. That's why I strongly support the 36 Months campaign, and I commend Michael Whipfley and Rob Galazzo, the founders of the 36 Months campaign, for starting this important conversation in Australia. Over 114,000 people have signed the petition calling for raising the minimum age for signing up to social media contracts from 13 to 16. And I acknowledge, with deep sadness particularly, the advocacy of Mr. Rob Evans, who's with us today in the gallery and who lost his daughter Liv to suicide at just 15 years old after battling anorexia. This campaign comes from the common sense and evidence-based position that younger users are better off with 3 more years to mature and to develop their offline identities beforehand, so that they're better equipped to handle challenges of social media when they eventually do sign up. Our kids deserve the best start in life. And by supporting this campaign, we can help create a healthier, happier future for the next generation. Yeah.